Hey guys, so this was a subscriber request video, and today we're going to be talking about the Memento Mori Oracle and Lenormand deck by Claire Goodchild. I had someone ask on one of my previous videos how I use this deck for mediumship because this is the deck that I primarily use for that. And I'm going to kind of just walk you guys through it a little bit and talk a little bit about how mediumship works in that regard. So, first things first, I keep my deck in this cute little pouch that Danny from Danny Mystic made me. And although this is a Lenormand deck, I don't use it like that at all. So when you get the Memento Mori, it comes in this little tuck box. And it does have a little guidebook that's just kind of like your little white book. I, however, do have an expansion pack that I recently purchased for this. She did a short pre-order for some expansion packs that she's releasing. And I think this one in particular was only a one-time go. So I don't know if you can get this expansion pack anymore. It is still on her website, but it does say sold out. So when I looked into it, I couldn't really find a whole lot of definitive information if there will be any reprints on this, but I got the Ancestors and Advisors expansion pack because it was very fitting for using this deck for mediumship. So this deck does have all of the cards that you would expect for a Lenormand deck, like Book or trying to find another one. Heart. Yeah. But it also, the expansion pack that I got comes with family members. So you have niece, or you'll have sister, and it's really good for identifying if you're trying to do mediumship. Now, I have done readings with this deck before I had the expansion pack. The expansion pack I've only had for a few weeks, so not a whole lot of time, but I figured that I would at least kind of share with you a little bit on how I did do this without it and sort of my hopes for how this deck will function with that expansion pack. Now you can do this, like I said, without the expansion pack, and it because in Lenormand there is a man and a woman card, so that's essentially what I was using. But the expansion pack also does come with a they them card and a he him, so those pronouns. It's trying to find a specific card so we can kind of go into. So there's a daughter card. Where are they? The last time I did a reading with this deck, here we go. I was just seeing if there was anyone in my family that was going to come through to talk to me, and trying to find the cards that I can use for an example here. Of course, this is a very large deck, so one, there's a few here. There's where are you? Oh, I'm throwing cards. Everyone's gonna just sit here while I shuffle through cards. Sorry, guys. Of course, it's probably like at the bottom. So we're gonna go from the bottom. It's probably there's one of them. Okay. So the thing about mediumship is that it's really kind of deciphering symbols that spirit will give you. And a lot of it's not going to make sense to you, especially if you're reading for someone else. So you really have to kind of decode what they're trying to say. I can't find the other card I'm looking for, but there is a card in this deck that's lilies. And when one of the last times I was doing a reading with this deck, I first drew, when I asked who are you to me, I got the card lilies. And I was like, okay, so now I have to decode what that means to me and what it could potentially mean to the spirit that's trying to come through. My grandmother's name was Lily, or is Lily. She's still with us. But her husband, my grandfather, is not. So I took that as, okay, it's my grandpa, because he's trying to get my attention by saying, like, you know who Lily is, then you know that I'm connected to her. And the other thing that came through in that reading was when I had asked, how are we related? I got the pedestal card. And this basically to me was, okay, so they are someone who is above me in my family lineage. And that made sense. The Memento Mori also does come with like a man and woman card. So here's the woman card. And the other here's the lilies card. The other card that had come through in that reading is I was specifically asking about my cat Luna, who I lost in October. And I just wanted to know if she was with my family. And I got the bear card, and so I immediately kind of got this like mama bear intuitive hit, and I was like, oh, it's my mother. Mother's is here as well. And I had said, is Luna with you? And coincidentally, I got the cat card. So I was like, okay. And then for me, it as soon as I start to open up spirit communication, I feel like cards or divination is a really good way for me to step into that process, step into that state of mind where I can really be present and open to spirit and that type of communication, because I'm not always. Sometimes I'll get random hits here and there, but most of the time I get more profound experiences either when I'm asleep and dreaming, or if I'm already thinking about that person, or I've kind of opened myself up in some way. So that's usually how it works for me. It tends to be different for everybody. We all kind of have our own niches, but everybody is psychic, I think. So for me, I started to get my other senses opened up as this was happening. So I started to feel spirit, um, which I know I've described before, but it's kind of a tingly sensation, or I can just feel like a heaviness of energy. And usually my family members tend to kind of hang out on my right side. The other thing that I will experience is um, I can smell things. Like I will smell things that are associated with my family. Or I'll just get random flashes of something. Usually that's also a little bit associated with clairaudience. So sometimes in those flashes of what really could only be described as a vision, I will also experience hearing or seeing my mother calling my cat. And that's what I experienced when I was doing this reading. So this deck is really helpful. And keep in mind, you can do this with just tarot. Tara from Kittens, Weights, and Tarot has a really good video on doing this with just tarot. And I'll put the link to that down below in the description box. But this deck is really helpful, in my opinion. Even without the expansion pack, you can still pick up the deck itself without the expansion pack. It is very helpful for spirit communication. It's really kind of all I use it for. And I'm a very visual person, so being able to have that tool to kind of open me up to spirit tends to spark or ignite my gifts to sort of open up further, and then I can be more receptive to the messages that I'm trying to receive. And it can take some time, some practice, some decoding, because that's essentially what mediumship is. It's, as I said, decoding messages that you are receiving from your beloved dead, or anyone who you're doing a reading for. So I hope that this video was helpful. I hope it made sense. If you guys have any more questions about mediumship, or any more questions about Memento Mori, specifically this deck, please put them in the comments down below. I will leave the link to Claire Goodchild's website, where I know you can still order Memento Mori, but I don't think you can order this expansion pack. She does have other expansion packs that are coming. I think they're in the pre-order status or they're into the to be announced, but this one specifically, I'm not sure what the status is on that one. So I apologize for that, but I will definitely have her shop linked down below so you can check it out if you'd like to support a independent artist. She has wonderful art and I'm really a fan of her decks. So thank you for watching, guys, and as always, blessed be.